Okay. All right. Welcome, loves. So, if you are new this evening, welcome. And to those of you returning, it's good to see all your beautiful faces again. We always start with a vow. And so this really solidifies the space. It creates a sense of connection and respect and honor to not only ourselves, but to each other. It's really important in spaces like this to set the tone for what it is that we want to receive and how we want to show up, right? So, respecting each of the women that are here and bringing our best self forward. And we always like to say, if not here, then where? If not now, then when? And this is your invitation to really arrive and to share and to be open and to connect. And so you are invited to share as much as you would like or as little as you would like. There's no pressure in this space. There's also an invitation that if it feels like it's a stretch to share, then lean into that and maybe bring yourself to that edge, and maybe there's something that you can gain from or learn from that edge, right? So that invitation always stands. So we will start with the vow. So wherever you are, close your eyes down. And just bring the left hand to the heart. And just feel into the body first. So the invitation here is to leave behind every moment before this one. Whatever happened today, whatever emotions you felt today, whatever stresses came, whatever joys came, all of that is beautiful. And we are here in this moment now. So be present with that, arrive in that, feeling into the body. And in your mind's eye or out loud, whatever's comfortable for you, repeat after me. I vow to respect this circle and the women in it. Anything and everything that is shared in this space stays in this space. I vow to be gentle with myself. I vow to speak with love, vulnerability, and non-judgment. May we all remember that we are in this together. What happens to one of us happens to all of us. Beautiful. Now breathing in through the nose, filling up the belly. And open mouth exhale, letting it all out. Again, in through the nose, filling up the belly. Another sip at the top. And let it out, exhale. Last time, in through the nose. And let it all out. Beautiful. Okay. Welcome, loves. It's so beautiful to see so many new faces this time. It's really, really nice. Um, we are really just the full moon circles have just been such a potent space for all of us, facilitators included. And so every time that we host one of these, we feel such a just an evolution of like what Sacred Sisters is in general, and how it really has grown and reached so many people and expanded into just such an incredible space of connection and safety and fun and joy. And we're going to touch on all of those things tonight. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Rita. I am going to guide us tonight through some empowerment and some journaling and a little bit of meditation. My medicine is around really mirroring back to you what your power is. That's all of our medicine, honestly, in a different modality. And I'm going to let everyone kind of introduce themselves and share what it is that they do, but I'm going to quickly just touch on it. So this morning, or to start off, Shauna is going to guide us through a collective card pull, and then she's going to speak to a crystal that is aligned with the energy of the moon for this month. And then she's going to guide us into some fun movement. And I'm going to let her explain that a little deeper. And then we'll move on to Marsha. And Marsha is our in-house astrologer. And so she's going to speak to what is going on in the cosmos and what's happening collectively in the world. And then maybe speak a little bit to what that looks like for each of us individually in our signs. And then we will go on to Adrian. I didn't have you guys wave, but Adrian, Shauna, and Marsha kind of did. Adrian. So Adrian's going to guide us through something having to do with art and creativity, and this usually touches on our inner child, and it's an invitation for play and expression and a little bit of just freedom in releasing the perfectionism that tends to exist in a lot of us, especially now, just being an adult and thinking that we have to do everything with some perfect purpose. So yeah, so each of us have a really potent medicine that we're going to offer you. And we always like to say, take what feels true for you and leave what doesn't, right? These are the modalities and the teachings that have worked for each of us, and the things that we feel called to share within the energy of the moon. And yeah, so like I said earlier, we encourage you to share as much as or as little as you'd like. There will be moments throughout the circle where we will open up the space for sharing, and we love to hear from you and to know what's going on in your heart and mind and world as we're moving through these exercises. So yeah, we will get started. I'm going to pass it off to Shauna. Shauna, go ahead, Mama.
Thank you, sister. Hi, sisters. So I'm just a little shooketh at the card I pulled while you were talking. I'm not surprised. I'm glad we're here. Tonight is special. We're going to move through in my segment some energy with movement. We're going to tap into our sultry and sacred Scorpio energy. Within this space, my medicine lies in crystals and cacao, and I never bring cacao to full moon circles, but I have it tonight just because I really felt like I wanted to sit with cacao this evening. And the card I pulled is called the Maya, which if you have sat with me in cacao ceremony or sat in ceremony before, you know that cacao is sacred medicine of the Mayan culture. That's where we see it used most prevalently, although it's seen elsewhere as well. But this card links to the Indian word Maya, which means illusion. So this card comes when we need to strip away false illusions and align to what it is that is true, which is so interesting with the energy of this full moon in Taurus, lunar eclipse under a Scorpio sun. There's a lot going on, and Marsha's going to talk about it, so I'm not going to spend too much time there. For me, I really want to invite you to ask yourself the question, what shadow energy do I need to move through in this lunar eclipse? And really, when we're looking at a lunar eclipse, the energy emotionally can feel a little bit more intense than usual. And I want to invite you to look at the shadow side of both signs. So Taurus in the light is all about how we honor present moment intention and also our connection to natural abundance and oneness with nature and the universe. In the low side of Taurus, it can live in an over obsession with the concept of abundance and material wealth, from the perspective of like vanity and acquisition and just like needing to obsess over money. So looking at yourself and seeing where you might be aligning to the shadow side of Taurus, that's what I'm inviting you. So maybe take some notes on that if you have your journal out. And then on the flip side, when we look at Scorpio, we look at the queen of metamorphosis and transformation. Scorpio is very comfortable with the cycles of death and regeneration and how we introspect. But on the flip side of that, Scorpio has a tendency to get caught up in transformation loops. So I am constantly trying to evolve and grow and be better to the point that I can't honor myself as enough where I am. So looking at where you might be aligning to that energy of I have to be better, I have to do better, I have to evolve, versus just sitting with self and saying I am enough as is, and kind of looking at where you've come from and where that's led you to this point. So inviting you to sit with those energies, and just jot down some notes surrounding how you're feeling there. So I want to read you what this card says. So it's card number 11, which is an auspicious number. So the Maya, allow past mistakes to help you see through all illusions so that you can understand and act upon what you know is real and what you know is false. So really leaning into both of those energies, honestly, when we look at Scorpio, Scorpio has no problem like being raw and real and letting you know how it is. And Taurus has no problem with saying in a moment to moment perspective, like, this is what you need to do. Like it can be more earth driven things. So, oh, you want to feel better about this? Well, you just need to do this, right? You're tired, take a nap, right? Like Taurus can be very in the moment and Scorpio can be very of the ether. So it's the combination of those two coming together to really help you remove any illusion and anything that's stopping you from seeing what your truth is on this path. So yeah, there is our card for tonight. We have two crystals that we're pulling in, and if you were in ceremony with me on Saturday, we talked about these crystals. So traditionally with Scorpio, people will lean into obsidian, and obsidian's a wonderful crystal for Scorpio season, but I want us to go somewhere else. Because Scorpio has this natural affinity for introspection, it can drudge up a lot of feelings of, again, that like, I'm not good enough. These are things that I've done, faults I need to work past. And so you're moving through the shadow. And when you're moving through the shadow, it can start to make you feel bad. So I wanted to bring in smoky quartz because it's a great stone for letting go of low vibrational emotions. And as we're moving through the paces of anything that might come up in the shadow, whether it's guilt, shame, envy, anger, sadness, whatever might show up for us, this is a stone that's going to help you feel that emotion and move past it. It's also a stone that's beautiful for anchoring you to the present moment. So smoky quartz really vibrates at the frequency of like, I am rooted. So if you need to be present, which we all do, right? You need to be present during shadow work because it can be very, very easy to get pulled into the past or pulled into the energy that you're working with. This one's also a good one for electromagnetic frequencies. So if you work remotely or on your laptop all the time, we always all have our cell phones. This one's really good for that too. So smoky quartz for Scorpio. And then we're pulling in aragonite for Taurus. So aragonite is a stone for accountability. And it is a stone that invites us to tune into the energy of taking accountability for ourselves, being responsible for our actions, and allowing ourselves to use that accountability and self-responsibility to foster new beginnings. So I think that's a really important part of shadow work, is that you honor what it is that you're moving through, sit with it, know that it's not, you can't ever get rid of the shadow, right? It's always going to be there, but it's a piece of yourself that you have to be comfortable drawing into the light and sitting with, looking at her in the mirror and saying, hey, girl, we've done what we've done. We are where we are, but I've got you. And we're going to move forward and step into this new season of accountability and showing up for ourselves in a better way together. So that's really what shadow work is all about. So I think these two stones pair really well together for this particular lunar eclipse. And I can type them in the chat for you, but this one is smoky quartz and this one is called aragonite. So I'm going to do that quickly before we move on. Aragonite and smoky quartz. Okay, does anyone have questions about either the stones or the card we pulled before we move on to the next phase of our activity? Does anyone want to share maybe like something that is in their shadow that's been coming up for them on either side? Oh, I'm so glad, Erica. She said no questions, but she's absolutely loving this. Me too. I'm like, this is what I do. Everybody's like, get a hobby. I'm like, this is my hobby. Okay, no pressure to share. If we move through, oh wait, do you want to share?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm not very tech friendly when it comes to this, so pardon the whatever, but
You're perfect.
I definitely like literally everything you said. I was like, yes, that's how I'm feeling. Yep, that's how I'm feeling. It's just been so heavy, like, and the money thing that you talked about is like driving me nuts. I'm like, it's all I can think about. It's all about, okay, how do I attain? How do I provide? How do we figure out how to make more money? Because there's so much shifting. It's like the only thing I can think about. So that exactly, Marsha, right? It's like it's top of mind right now. So when you said that, I was very it touched me.
I resonate. I'm moving through that same energy. I mean, I think so many of us are, right? It's like if it's energy that we've already been moving through and then it's under this lunar cycle, then we're like amplified in it. So that is one thing I want to add. Do not put your crystals out under this full moon. It's a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses are just a little bit energetically dense. And when you're charging your crystals in the full moon, you are asking the moon to imbue your crystals with that energy. So if you don't want to continue feeling like this, don't put your crystals out tonight. I was telling people that all day today at the shop. They're coming in and buying crystals. I'm like, this is not the full moon to charge them under. Wait until the next one. So just a little note, moon water as well. You're gonna be drinking this heavy ass introspective financial energy. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait till next time. Thank you for that, sister. Anyone else want to share? No pressure.
I can share. I guess just to piggyback on what Sam said, I look forward to sharing the astrology so we can look what the eclipse is up to in everyone's charts. But for mine specifically, Taurus is in my 8th house. So this is investments, shared values. I'm an entrepreneur, and this week I had to be in practice and be like, okay, that's enough, Marsha. Don't let your mind go on and on about, do we have enough jobs lined up? Where is this going to go? How can this grow? Right? It was like, okay, calmate, just relax. So, I just wanted to share that, just if anyone's feeling that. I've been feeling it a lot and just being called to be in my practice, just like Sam.
I feel that too, really heavily. So thank you, Marsha. I'm like, I wonder if Taurus is in my 8th house. I'll have to look at my chart later and see. Thank you, sister. Okay, last call for shares before I lighten this energy up a whole lot. Okay, we're moving on. So, part of my magic is movement, but we use the word movement because people sometimes get spooked. Welcome to spooky season. We're going to dance, and it's going to be wonderful, and you're going to feel magnetic and great and all the things after. It is spooky season and it is Scorpio season. So we're going to dance by Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj. With a little Rick James in the beginning. I was dancing to this all day. I had so much fun with it. I wanted to tie in like the fun idea of like freak with Halloween, but also with like freak because of Scorpio. So Scorpios, I see y'all on here. You have a reputation. Okay. I texted Rita earlier, or I texted the group, and I was like, we're going to do something that puts the O in Scorpio. So that's where we are tonight. I was going to use a chair, but we don't need a chair. It's going to be floor routine. So we're going to dance on the floor. So wherever you are, just make some space for yourself to get cozy and be lighthearted, right? When we're sitting in this energy that can feel kind of dense and we've got a lot on our minds, the beautiful thing about dance is that everyone can do it. You don't need anything but your body and an open heart. It's a beautiful modality that is one part art, one part exercise. So there's a huge dopamine release that happens when you dance. And all I want you to focus on is like amping each other up and having a good time. This is a good space for you. And let's do this. Let's drop in before we start dancing. So everybody close your eyes. And it's Halloween, right? We're getting really close to Halloween. So I want you to pretend that for this next 20 minutes, you are putting on the sexiest costume. So whatever that looks like to you, whatever the sexy, super freaky girl costume looks like in your life, I want you to transport to that place right now in your mind's eye. Maybe she's wearing like Harley Quinn pigtails, a choker. Maybe she's gone on some like thigh-high latex boots. Maybe she's wearing lingerie. We can be her on the inside. Right now, I am wearing sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt. We don't have to be her on this call, but I want you to just go there and see yourself as her. And while we're dancing, you can open your eyes. I want you to just channel whoever it is that you just saw. Whatever that energy is for you, that's who you're channeling when you're moving. Are we ready to dance? Ready as we'll ever be? Okay. Cool. I'm going to scoot back so y'all can see me. And then I'll go back and forth between facing forward and facing backwards. But like I said, we're going to start on the floor. And the way I want you to get there, you're going to get there from standing up. So can you guys see my whole body? Okay. So he says, hey, 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 hey. You know, Rick James, you're just going to do some hips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And that's going to sink you down to the ground. I don't care if you go right or left first, but you're just going shake, 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 dip to the ground. And I'm sitting on my knees now at this point. Okay. So I'm going to tilt the camera this way so that you can now see me on the floor. Okay. So I went hip, 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 boom, 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 boom. Okay. And now I'm sitting. From this position, my right arm goes up in the air. My left arm goes up in the air. And I'm going to sit and give you a little bitty chin. Boom. Good. So we go right arm over the head, left arm over the head, sit and chin. So it says in the music, hey, 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 you can flick it, you can smack it or something, whatever she says. Sit and chin. Let me watch. 5, 6, 7, hip, 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 arm and head and chin. Good. One more time. Oh, this is divalicious. One more time. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, hips, 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 hips. We go. Arm and head. Boom. Beautiful. Okay. So after we do that, doom, 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 doom. We're gonna do a little roll, and I'm touching the back, like this is going down the back of my neck to my shoulders, like past my boobies. So I'm doing a roll, and then I'm doing a roll down to my knees. So 2 rolls. So we went whoosh, whoosh, sit, chin. We go whoosh, whoosh. We're gonna open our legs just a little bit, and then a whole lot. Yeah, it's a smorgasbord. Okay, so let's go from the top. We're standing up. Rick James says, hey, 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 hey. We go whoosh, 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 whoosh. We go roll, roll, open, open. This is so good. Okay, let me watch from the top. Here we go. 5, 6, 7. Hey, 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 hey. Arms and arms and hair, chin. We go roll and roll. Little open, big. Yes. Okay, so let this be like peak, hey. Yes, like it's like a little open, and then it's like a hey. Okay, one more time. Here we go. So Rick James says, hey, 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 hey. We go right arm, left arm, hair, chin. We go body roll, knees, and open. Yes. Okay, perfect. Moving on. So we just went 1, 2. From here, I'm going right arm, left arm, and you're going to whip your hair in a circle. I don't care which way your circle goes. Whoosh, whoosh. 2. Big old hair whips. Yes. Ponytails flying. I love it. Okay. So we went whoosh, whoosh, and we go right. We go left, kind of like a kitty cat. Meow. 1, 2. Let me check the chat because I think I have questions. Let's see. Feisty, sassy, Scorpio energy. Okay. Not a question. It is a comment. Angie, even if I am 5 months pregnant, yes, ma'am, I did poll until I was 38 weeks. So I am here for the movement when you are prego. Okay. So we go whoosh, whoosh. We're going right. This is how you got pregnant, sis. Don't play with me. Boom. And then we do 2 hair whips. 1, 2. Okay. Yes. Let's run it back from the top. So we'll pretend like we were standing. Rick James says, hey, 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 right and left. And boom, chin. We go roll, roll, and open. We go right, left, and whip, whip. Hell yes. Angie took her ponytail down. I'm done. Okay. Can I watch it? Here we go. 5, 6, 7. He says, hey, 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 right and left and hair, chin. We go roll and open and right, left, whip, whip. Hell yes. Okay, it's a smidgy bit faster than this, so let's try it a little bit faster, and then we'll try with music. Does that sound good? Any questions? Okay, here we go. From the top. 5, 6, 7. Hey, 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 hey. Right arm, left arm. Hair, chin. We go. Roll, roll. Knees open. We go. Right, left, and whip, whip. Yes. Okay, we ready for music? Ree, will you let me share? Thanks, sister. Okay, let's see. It says you cannot start sharing while the other participant is sharing. Perfect. Thank you, sister. Okay. So he literally starts singing in the band and he's like, yeah, hey, 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 hey. Okay. So you have like, yeah, or something. Can you hear that?
Hey yo, I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time
Yes.
he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F
Yes. Okay.
A-K-F-R.
Scale of 1 to 10. How was the first time with the music? Love it. I'm doing dinner with the kiddos. Wish I was working it with y'all. That's okay, sis. You have it on recording, so I better get a DM of you doing it later. Are we ready to move on? We want to try it one more time with music. One more time with music. Okay.
She's all right. That girl's all right with me. Yeah.
Go.
Hey yo, I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna
Okay.
F-R-E-A-K.
Angie, if your baby's like mine, your baby is going to start moving like crazy after this. He used to do wild things after I get done dancing. Okay, can I watch it once and we can move on? Finish this puppy. The hair flip is giving me life. Me too. I'm watching all of you flip your hair and I just can't even. My headphones cannot even handle the hair flip. That is so funny. I used to lose my AirPods all the time, so I quit putting them in when I would teach dance classes. Okay, your time without me, and then we will move on. Here we go.
She's all right. That girl's all right.
Don't forget that character you built. I want to see her come out.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey yo, I can lick it, I
Yes.
can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little
Hey.
tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it,
Okay.
you can go down and kiss it. And every time
Yes.
he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F-R.
So good. And I don't lie. I would make you do it again if it wasn't. So let's move on. It's perfection. Shay, B, you give me life. So fun. Shay, it's okay, sis. You just move. That's the thing with dance is you just keep moving. And honestly, if you're whipping your hair, nobody even cares. You can just sit here for 97 8 counts and just like whip your hair in a circle and it'll be fine. Okay. So we finished. Right, left, whip, whip. Okay. So I'm going to sit my left booty cheek down to the floor. Like I'm going to slide my knees through this way. And I'm going to sit like this. Yeah, so I'm sitting on my left booty cheek. So I was here and I'm just going to slide everything this way, sit on my left booty cheek, and I'm going to roll to the back, to the other booty cheek. Yeah, let me see that before I move on. So we were here, right arm, left arm, whip, whip. I'm going to slide everything through. Sliding everything through. This hand comes like up and over my hair so that I can keep rolling this way. And I'm on the other side now. Okay, so now that I'm on the other side, I have two options, okay? I can do a little grab like this. Okay, that's option A. Grab and pull. Option B is to lay and kick that back leg up. So you look like this. Okay, so option A is just a grab and pull, or option B is a lay and kick, or lay and slay. That's what I said in my head. Okay, lay and slay. Yes, your option. Okay, so we just finished right, left, whip, whip. We go, slide it through. We go, head roll. We go either place this arm down and pull, or we place this arm down and kick. Okay, your choice. From there, I'm going to come back. My back's going to face the camera, so I'm coming this way. And I'm going to sink down like this. Hey, friends. Yeah, all the way to a flat back. Yeah. So let's go from this part. We're so close to the end. We went right arm, left arm, whip, whip. We slide it through, and we roll. Pick your poison. You either kick or you grab. I'm going to come and slink down to the floor. I'm laying flat on my back. So she starts to spell the word freak. Yes, that's what's about to happen next. But before that happens, let me watch. So just go from right arm, left arm. Yeah. So 5, 6, 7. We go right arm, left arm, whip, whip. We slide it through and we roll and we pick or we kick. Hell yeah. Okay, perfect. So after we do that, oh, sorry, I forgot to slink it back. Y'all did it without me. You didn't even need me for that. Okay. So we slinked it back. It says Kiwanis, F-R-E-A-K. Okay. So we should be slinking down on the words F-R-E. Okay. Our legs are coming up and we're just going to go A-K. Kick, kick. I don't care what leg you kick. And then from here, you're going to roll yourself up. F-R-E. I'm coming to the side like this. And then you're just going to do 2 pops, A-K. And that's the end. You survived. You made it. Your inner divine goddess got to shine. So I'll run that back. We just did, if you want to watch, F-R-E-A-K. F-R-E-A-K. And that's the end. So this booty is the goal right here at the end. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that. Okay. Run it back from right, left, and let me watch very slowly. Let me check the chat really quick. I feel you, Marcia. I need that too. See, and dance is, we talked about this last time. It's movement, right? And then when you look at like the etymology of the word movement, it's meaningful, right? So we're moving our body in a meaningful way. And it's helping us disperse that energy, like any of the energy we've been feeling that is living in that shadow. We're moving it right now. We're having fun. We're laughing, right? There's so many good things coming out of this. So run it back from here. All right, we go right, left, whip, whip. We slide it through, open, and over to kick. We slide it back, R-E-A-K, F-R-E, booty pop. Yes, 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 perfect. Do you want to hear it? Nope, let's do this first. Let's connect the dots from the very, very top. And then we'll hear it. So from the very, very top, slowly, he says, yeah. Hey, 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 you can boom, 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 and boom, boom. You can boom, 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 and boom, boom. You can boom, 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 and boom, boom. You can through and open and through, kick, boom, F-R-E-A-K. F-R-E-A-K. Yes, beautiful. Okay, I get to watch it and then we'll do it a few times with music. Here we go. From the very, very top. Like this is my cardio for the day, as if I haven't been chasing around a 9-month-old, but it's fine. Here we go. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Hey, 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 hey. Right arm, left arm. Hair, chin. We go. Roll, roll, and knees. We go. Right, left, and with that hair, we slide it through to roll and grab or kick. I want to F-R-E-A-K. F-R-E-A-K. Yes, that booty pop at the end. Yeah, it's very in Scorpio. That's very good. Okay, do we want to hear music? Do we have questions?
Ashley has a question.
Hi, Ash.
Hi. How many? Okay, I know there's two booty pops at the end, but
Uh-huh. It's kind
can
of
you do
just
that part
one.
again? It's
kind of
one.
one.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It goes F-R-E-A-K. F-R-E-A-K.
Yeah, okay. I had to make sure my ass was moving at the same time
Yeah, like a
as the
kitty cat.
music. Okay,
Think
that's what I
kind
thought.
of
That's
like
what I
a
thought.
sexy cat pal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Other questions? Musica? Okay, here we go. Okay, put your character glasses on. I better see all sorts of things.
She's alright. That girl's alright with me. Yeah.
Hey yo, I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F-R-E-A-K, F-R-E-A-K.
Yes. Okay. So do you feel in the music how it's kind of like syrup? Like there's parts where it's really like fast, and then there's parts where it's really like sticky and drippy. I want it to feel like a cursive word, but like a cursive word that's moving through, you're squeezing the tube and it's coming out really fast, and then it's sticky. Does that make sense? Kind of think about painting with your body. Can I watch it? Okay, I'm gonna watch it and I want to see characters. Yes, give me characters. What kind of shoes are we wearing? Can somebody tell me? I envisioned myself doing this routine earlier in thigh-high black pleasers, like the boots, you know? I have some in my trunk, but I guess I could have gotten them out. I mean, like the long, tall ones. So if you were a shoe before you do this routine, what shoe are you in right now? Somebody give me a shoe. We're in a strappy leather lace-up pumps. Yes, we are. Barefoot is a shoe. Just saying. Maybe you have on some foot jewels. Rita's in some Nike Air Forces. I'm here for it, sis. Okay, you better be butt naked with those Nike Air Forces. I'm just saying. Barefoot with belly dancer charms on the ankles. See, I told you, A. I told you. Yes. Okay, are we ready to do this? You got one time all together, and then we'll do it each in groups. Okay, here we go. First time all together.
She's alright. That girl's alright with me. Yeah.
Hey yo,
Okay.
I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F-R-E-A-K,
Okay. You're all fabulous, but I know B's a Scorpio also, and I just see her over here doing Scorpio things. So I see you, B. B's over here like, I'm like, okay, B. Rita saw it too. Okay, I'm not crazy. So we're gonna break up in groups. And so the way I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna say your name and give you a number. Ree, you're group 1, A, you're group 2, Marcia, you're group 1, B, you're group 2, Angie, you're group 1, Shay, you're group 2, Ashley, you're group 1, Dominique, you're group 2, Mariah, I know you're not dancing, so I'm gonna skip you. Kristen, you're group 1, Erica, you're group 2, Kaylee, you're group 1, Chaitali, you're group 2, and Anna, you're group 1. Okay, so if you're group 1, it's your turn to have fun. If you're group 2, they're performing for you. So you better just like Give them all of the this. Yes, this is yes, I feel you in my soul. Okay. And then we'll flip and it'll be group two's turn and we'll be going like this for you. You can also type raunchy, inappropriate things in the chat. We're fine with that as well. Yeah, she said, let me turn my gallery mode on. Haley said, I'm still at work, but shaking my little booty. We love it. We love it for you. Okay, here we go. Wherever you are, group one, it is your turn to have fun. Don't be ashamed. You are getting in that character. We are letting it loose and letting it out. You are Nicki Minaj, okay? In this moment, take a deep breath in. Your music is on.
She's all right. That girl's all right with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, girl, I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F R E A K F R E A K A K A K A K F R E.
Okay, so good. Living for Angie. I'm living for you in the bump, okay? And I'm living for Mateo running in the room at the end, Rita. Yes, Marsha, I just see your feet up in the air. Marsha's like, just her feet. I'm like, slay those feet, sis. Okay, beautiful. Group two, it's your turn. Group two, make it do what it do. This is all about you. Here we go. Give them love in the chat. Shake your hands.
She's all right. That girl's all right with me. Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Okay, we go.
I can lick it, I
Hey.
can ride it while you slipping and
Okay.
sliding. I can do all them little tricks and keep the dick up inside it. You can smack it, you can grip it, you can go down and kiss it. And every time he leave me alone, he always tell me he miss it. He wanna F R E A K F R E A K A K A K A K A K F R E.
Living for Dominique, lip syncing the words. Yes, I literally, she turned around and she's like, he tell me he missed it. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Okay, I miss it. I never even had it. Here we are. Here we are. Putting the O in Scorpio. How are we feeling? Give me words. Type them in the chat. It's the dancer in me. I feel you. Type it in the chat. Give me one word. How are you feeling right now? Ass was shaken. That was amazing. Delicious. That's a good word. Yes. Rejuvenated. Needed that laughter and fun. Release. So much fun. One word lighter. Love it. Loose. So needed the release. Yes. I feel that. Light. Free. Beautiful. 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 You are all beautiful. That was so much fun. I get just as much out of this as you do. I love to teach movement. So thank you. Sexy mama. That's right. You and the bump. Killing it. Killing it. I'm like, okay, I better see you at 37 weeks. So we will dance like this every full moon. I appreciate all of you for showing up and being open. And yeah, if you want to keep working with this throughout, the week or the weekend, and you take little videos of yourself, feel free to send them to me. I like to see them. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. That was so much fun. Mateo was so terrified and confused. I was like, why are you rolling on the floor? Your tracks are flying all over. It's like, what's going on, Mom? But thank you, Mom. All right. Marsh, your turn, my love. Tell us what's going on in the world.
I wish I had the answers. But I think at this moment, can I just share the screen? Let's see. Can you give me?
Oh, Sean, will you stop sharing, love? Because she can't share until you.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. So eclipse season has been popping off since the new moon, right? We had the solar eclipse at the beginning of the month. And now we are here at the partial lunar eclipse that will be happening on the 28th. And we knew we were in for a ride, but like there's been a lot of energy, to your point, very transformational, lots of healing coming up. And as they are connected to Taurus and Scorpio for this partial lunar eclipse, that's what's getting activated in our charts. So when we had the beginning of eclipse season, that was touching Aries and Libra. So it was about who we are as individuals, balancing that with who we are within partnership. This partial lunar eclipse is touching Scorpio and Taurus, right? So when you take a look at your charts, you gals, most of you gals have a photo of your chart. You want to look at where Taurus is in your chart. This Saturday is going to be the 4th and final of the Taurus eclipse. So it's been about 2 years, everyone. You want to look at where Taurus is ruled in your house of the chart and see, I think take a moment to reflect on any full circles or completions that have happened in the last 2 years. Think back to November 21st. We had the same access point of Scorpio and Taurus. So last year, 11/21st, and it was connecting with Saturn. So you could have felt tense or frustrated in that area because of the Saturn influence. But this time we have Taurus and Scorpio connecting with Jupiter. So there's like an expansive energy, and it's also seeing a closing of a 2-year cycle. Eclipse energy lasts about 6 months. So you may be coming to this completion of a theme that you've been experiencing for the last 2 years. Maybe not, if you're not coming to a completion, maybe there's like the home stretch where you just have some additional or final things to get into. So by springtime, you're feeling refreshed, you're feeling like newness is available. When we look at the eclipse, we have the sun with Earth in the middle, then the moon. So essentially it's a moment where we have this celestial meetup. And in this moment, we have Mercury and Mars on one side and Jupiter on the other. So it's creating this powerful blend of emotions and also strong urges. Even with what's happening in the world, in the Middle East, I'm just like, I know these people, they have astrologers and they're like, let's get everybody amped up because this is the time where emotions are going to be high, right? So you can see some of that happening as a collective, but also we have an opportunity to blend these very strong emotions and urges and alchemize and, create. If we are the magicians and the creators of our lives, how can we take all that energy and focus on its potency? So when we have eclipse season, just like what Shauna said, and it's so funny because I'm always that voice around eclipse season. Don't put your crystals out. Don't do all the things. If there's going to be all this shadowy, mucky, dense energy in the air, why would you want to have anything of it, right? So thank you for sharing that. And when we look at this partial lunar eclipse, it's kind of like the full moon is just like really full and the sun meets up and it becomes this moment to pause and reflect. It's kind of like hitting the pause button on a video game before making a decision. So taking your time to think things through and before leaping into action, just like dropping into it, seeing if there's anything that has been in your way for the last couple of years. See if that's been like, you know, having a purpose of being in your way, or it just needs to go, right? So it's kind of like the lights turn out, it's a light bulb moment, things turn off, then you plug it back in. And after this potent meeting of the celestial energies between the sun, the moon, Mercury, expect insights and be open to it. That's how we can all harness this eclipse energy. And then dropping into today, tomorrow, this weekend, words and ideas are so powerful because of the alignments, and really just dropping into the power of your word, making the most of this opportunity to express yourself potently, right? Like, what if we had a limit to how many words we could say in a day? And if we did, would you be more mindful in your potency of what you're speaking of, right? It's kind of like thinking about words and communication in that way. How can you say the most in the most clearest, efficient way? How can you speak to others where they can actually digest what you're saying, right? Because we are not communicating if someone is saying all the things and the person on the other hand is not comprehending, right? That's not communication. That's like a monologue. So how can we really drop in to our words and the power of our words and focus them in a way that they can be most potent when it comes to our plans and creative thoughts? And then I would love to, I always say this during eclipse season. Eclipse season is the moment where you just spill the tea with your shadow and you say, hey, shadow, come have a seat. We're gonna talk. How are we doing? It's kind of like a check-in, right? What's still vulnerable with you? What's not? Where have you healed? Is there still something else that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be held, right? It's a moment to hold our emotions and really feel around in there. If you can, please just put in the chat, like, maybe think of this activity of, if you can name your shadow, if she had a name, right? So like Debbie Downer can be one. I think I'm probably gonna call my shadow Scarcity Sally. If you could just like drop in the chat, what would your shadow's name be during this moment? And like really have fun with it. Morbid Morticia, totally. Yeah, Broken November. So yeah, just play around with like, what would you name your shadow? And give her a moment this week to just take a listen. Anxious Annie, that's a really good one. Mine is Straight Up Trauma. Awesome. Leaky Lucille. I like the L's there. Yeah, so really sit with them, right? Self-doubtful Deborah. Mariah, maybe like another, like, what's a B word that you can rhyme with that? Maybe like Beatrice Beasy.
Beatrice Beasy. Yeah. I love it.
Okay, perfect. And then just be like, okay, come on over. Let's have a little chat. We can talk it out. We can connect during this eclipse, but then after the weekend, we've got to move on. So let those shadows have their moment to share with you, get what you can from it, and alchemize that into the magic that you're creating. So if you can, take this moment, maybe write in your rising sign and your sun sign, and we're going to go over what the eclipse is activating in your chart. Taurus sun, Cancer rising. Okay. Sun and Sag, Gemini moon. Cancer rising. Cancer rising. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to move down the line. There's Scorpio, Gemini energy on here. Yes. So pretty much, we want to think back to last November and fast forward it up to now and think about our journey. Where have we been? With the Scorpios out there, if your birthday is between October 24th and November 1st, this lunar eclipse is really activating you. It's giving you this strong urge and need for new beginnings. Sun in Scorpio, I don't know my rising. Okay, cool. So as I go through these astrological placements, if you have a Taurus rising or a Taurus sun, we are going to go over it. And Brittany, yes, just connect with me and we can figure that out after the call. So for Taurus rising and Taurus suns, it's time to change your image, your identity, maybe redefining who you are, how you show up. That could be like how you show up physically, because the moon is in your first house while the sun is in your seventh. So there's a balance for Taurus energy with your autonomy as an independent person, and then also your dependence within relationships. So emotions feel full during this eclipse for Taurus energy. And this is a time to test your leadership. And also, if there's any dramatic energy with a partner, for anybody who has that Taurus rising or Taurus sun, just breathe it in and get back to using the power of your word. So Rita, Taurus moon. Yep. So the eclipse, Scorpio sun. And as you know, we can see Rita has a Scorpio sun and a Taurus moon. So it's like she can't hide it. She was born on a full moon. And this is really going to be activating Rita for sure. And you probably have been feeling it, Ree. So for Taurus, it's really about finding the balance between your individuality and how you show up in partnerships. That's the big one there. Does any of that resonate with you, Reed?
Yes, it's like my biggest challenge right now is remaining an individual and also like trying to enjoy my new partnership and like yeah.
So question, what was going on for you last year, 11/21, when it came to your individuality and your partnership?
It was like the first time I admitted to myself that I actually wanted partnership, because for a really long time I was like, oh no, I'm like building a business, I'm doing all this, like it's okay, it can wait. You know, I was sort of like pushing it off. And so yeah, that was like right around the time I was like, you know what? No, I do want that. And it's okay to want that. And it's also okay to keep being, doing the things that I'm doing. I can have it all. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So the power of your word on the full moon eclipse on 11/21, you said, okay, I'm open to that. And then guess what? The second half of the eclipse series, you have that. And now it's connected to that part, but then also it's like the season 2, right, of your series. All right. So then thank you for sharing, Ree. We're going to move to Aries. Does anybody have Aries sun or Aries rising on the call? If not, we can skip this sign. Okay. Oh, Aries rising. Okay, so Kristen has an Aries rising. So Kristen, the moon is going to be activating in your second house. And also the sun is going to be activating in your 8th house. So this is a push for financial changes for the Aries sun and the Aries risings. Issue of power and sharing come into focus. So this is a really great time to address any comfort zones without, Is there something that's making you afraid of taking risks? And then if so, what is it? How can you hold it, get underneath it? This is also a time where you're thinking about your own personal values, your financial settlements, maybe any debts, wanting to pay them off. So that's the vibe for Aries rising. Kristen, does that resonate with you? This all makes sense. I've been working on my spending habits and have felt a push to save. Awesome. So we are in the eclipse, and then it's connected to the 6 months, right? From here to springtime, Aries season. So it would be really great, right? Your first and your 7th house things, Kristen, your 2nd house and your 8th house things, really seeing like, okay, if I can challenge myself for the next 6 months to be in practice, how can I do that? What would that look like? And that goes for everybody when we're looking at everybody's charts. Does anybody have a Pisces rising or a Pisces sun? Pisces. Okay, so for Pisces, this is activating the moon's in your 3rd house and then the sun's in your 9th. So this is about communication. This is about the 3rd house is communication. It's also connecting with siblings, looking at your daily routine. This is a time where you may be getting insights on publishing more, writing more, being out there speaking more, communicating more, seeing how you can have a bigger reach, going outside of your neighborhood and into the larger scene. And Shay, yes, same thing too. And feel free to put, would that apply to Pisces moon? That would apply to a Pisces moon within their moon space. So within your feelings and emotions. Speaking, communicating about your feelings and emotions. All right. Oh my gosh, my series always wants, okay, that's good. So then next is Aquarius. When we look at Aquarius, the moon's in the 4th, the sun's in the 10th. This is about work, home life balance. Does anybody have Aquarius energy on the call? Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun? I don't think so. So essentially, if there's an Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, or if you have somebody close to you and you're, okay, Anna has an Aquarius moon. So it's about your feelings and the intimacy within you. What is the work-life balance for that? Are you putting a lot of emotions into work and essentially calculating your self-worth with that? Is work stressing you out? How can you find that balance between the work-life balance, your responsibility to work and your responsibility to yourself and your body? Awesome. And then Capricorn. I saw somebody with Capricorn energy on the call. So when it comes to Capricorn, the moon's moving in the 5th, the sun is moving in the 11th. And this is about focusing on your larger goals, right? It's like, has it been difficult just like wanting to do the things day to day, having the fun and, you know, just being in your pleasure and joy, but then having it hard to see the big picture? This is an opportunity to have insight on bringing that together. Or it could be vice versa, working too hard and not having enough fun. So this is insight when it comes to creative projects that you want to work on. Allowing yourself in the next 6 months to be open to the insights and the downloads that want to come to you there. All right. And then next we have Sag. Do we have any Sag on the call? I don't think so. Oh, Erica, that's right. Okay, so for Sag, the moon is in your 6th house. Oh, and K, yeah, okay. And the sun is in your 12th house. So this is really, this eclipse season is about really dropping into your meditation, boundaries, giving yourself, your emotions, the positive energy and practice that it needs. And then also having insights when it comes to improving your workspace. Also just being diligent when it comes to an exercise routine, a nutrition program, a meditation practice. And this is also a moment where you're feeling like the job space is either ending or beginning. And then feel free to drop in the chat if you're like, oh, that resonates. Okay, wild, because I'm deepening my practice with meditation teacher training. Perfect, you're right on time. Erica, you're always spot on. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Just looking at the stats, that's all I do. I'm my own data set of astrological alignments. Thank you. Okay, so Scorpio, it's your moment. The sun is in your first house and the moon is in your seventh house. So for Scorpio suns, Scorpio risings, this is about partnership. It's being tested. So if you are in partnership where it doesn't have the working pieces, it's time for a blessing and an ending within that. If your partnership has the working pieces, this is about time to like roll up the sleeves and, you know, really get underneath what compromise means to you. And then for Scorpios, this is like you're feeling more social, right? Like Scorpios being social, that happens definitely during Scorpio season. They're like, it's my season, I can come out, I can share more. So that is the vibe for Scorpio. And then also utilizing these next 6 months, right? To drop into stingers swinging, yes. And then it's like, okay, how can I share in a way where my Scorpio sun is honored, but I'm still being potent with the messaging that I want to bestow upon everybody. And then for Libra risings, I'm a Libra rising, so the sun's in my second house of values, the moon is in my 8th house of shared investments, right? So a lot of things have been coming up as closure and practice. I knew in the beginning of the week, I'm like, okay, Scarcity Sally, don't you act up on me. If you're coming out, I gotta be in practice. I gotta hear what you're saying, but then also be moving about my day to be creating instead of ruminating on things that I can't control. And then next we have Virgo. So Virgo's accessing the moon is in the 9th and the sun is in the 3rd. So personal practices and beliefs may be tested. It's time where you're having like a hunger for adventure for the Virgos, a hunger for learning. When we look at the moon in the 9th house, it is a time to really drop into the culmination of everything that you've ever learned and seeing how you can be in a space to share and teach and broadcast those things. You have accumulated the things that you've needed to. Now it's time to put it out there and receive the abundance for it. And not be, so for Virgo, not be too caught up in the details of like, what if it's not perfect? Like it's totally fine and perfect. Think about somebody who's not a Virgo and just doing the things. That's the best thing that I can share with anybody who has Virgo. And then for the Leo risings, this is the moon reflecting in the 10th house things, career, sun livening up the 4th house things, family. So it's reflecting on the balance of career and personal, the domestic, the family needs, the home concerns, but then also making sure you're allowing yourself to share and give your gifts outside of the home. That is what's happening for Leo risings. And then for Cancer risings, we have, so for Cancer rising, that moon is not where I want it to be. The moon's supposed to be in the 11th and the 5th. So for Cancer risings, it's about your friendships, your relationships, your groups, organizations. They may feel like they're being tested, but you're being invited to grow in those spaces. And there may even be an event involving a creative project, something creative you want to give birth to. It could be a romantic partnership or an event, or just something new is coming up for you, and being insightful as to like how you can focus on your creativity and then also be available for community. Ashley, you look like shocked. Yes, it connects with you.
Yes, that's crazy. I actually just went and found my journal from the first eclipse in Taurus in 2021, and I'm like reading everything that I wrote all 2 years ago, and I started like tearing up. And then you said like starting new creative projects, and like I'm holding my first like new moon circle at my job, and I'm so excited for that. And I made the flyer today, and like that's just you're speaking facts, girl. You're just really doing it.
That's awesome. I'm just, I'm just relaying the messages,
Well,
relaying the
you do
messages.
such a good job at it though. Like,
Good. So Ash, you have 6 months to be in practice. So by springtime, you're feeling even better when it comes to hosting your things. So this is not correct. The moon is actually in your 11th and the 5th. And then do we have anyone with Gemini on the call? Gemini rising? Okay. So Gemini rising, I thought I did it so right, but the moon is in your 12th and the sun is in your 6th. So this is a time to recognize your need for rest and spiritual renewal and giving that to yourself. You deserve it. So it's balancing your everyday activities, but then also giving yourself downtime. Like the downtime, the rest, the replenishment, it's a huge theme. And then also to just like, maybe there's a work project that's coming to fruition, because the 12th house is the house of completion. So Shauna, what do you think?
Well, I just want to say I was shook at at Leo rising. Career and family, balancing your domestic needs and home concerns, and then also honoring how we give our gifts outside of the home. I literally just posted about that like 2 days ago. Just like the struggle of identity and like the shift for me from my identity being, or my value being in my career identity, to now how I find my value in being a mother. Because I'm not working full time right now. I'm working part time. Rest and spiritual renewal. I mean, sis, it's just rest all the time. I need it. I'm figuring it out, but it's a day to day. I started sleeping with an eye mask last night and actually woke up this morning and was like well rested, which with Hero does not sleep during the night still. So to wake up and feel rested, I was like, this is a great investment. And then the spiritual renewal piece, and I've been meaning to reach out to you actually. We have a lot of Buddhist temples in Oklahoma. And there are two. There's one that's a Dharma center, and then one that is, it's just like I don't know what they call it. They don't call it the Dharma center, but like the Dharma center.
Monastery?
Maybe it's a monastery. There's one that's it's called the Wisdom Center. And then there's one that is, I think, like a proper monastery. And then there's the Dharma Center. The Wisdom Center. So it's bizarre enough. The other two, they're not far, but one's far. And then the other one's like, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I've looked over their website and I've been telling myself I'm going to schedule and stuff. They do stuff on Zoom. They do stuff in person. And I've been just like, I'm going to go to things, but I haven't scheduled it out yet. And I'm driving home today, and on my street, there's a property, and she just put a huge stone out in the front yard that says the name of the, like whatever her center's called. And it says Buddhist Wisdom Center.
Wow.
So I could walk there. Like it's that close to me. So I feel like Spirit is like, listen, sis, you need to get back into practice in a more intentional way, because I think
Mm.
for me, when it comes to like meditation or my spiritual practices, I sometimes feel the urge to rush them
Mhm.
because I only have so much time. Like if I have time to sit with cacao, I like limit myself to, I have this hour for a spiritual practice. But it's like if I
Mhm.
sit with cacao, then the likelihood that I'm going to let myself sit in meditation at the end of the day, probably not going to happen. Right. So it's just, for me, one of the biggest themes in my life right now is creating routine for next year. I've taken my calendar out. I'm writing in like hours of the day that I have support and what I'm going to do with those hours. But yeah, it's resonant, all of it.
That's beautiful.
And then the work project, I've got lots of ideas. I was just talking with Ree about some stuff, but as we're sitting here, literally while I was waiting for Gemini, this is some ideas I had for like a container. I've just been like jotting stuff down on one side. So yeah, I mean, spot on. Not surprised. You always are.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for listening and receiving. The next 6 months are really about whatever insights are happening now. How can you take those insights and diligently touch on the practices like a Taurus would, right? A Taurus would say, okay, this is a list. These are the things. This is the system. And then also balancing that Scorpio energy of like pure determination, laser like focus, not being distracted when they want something. Putting that together is really supportive. And thank you so much. And if you'd like to know more, you know how to get to me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marsh. Always lands right where it's meant to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, A, we're going to pass it on to you, my love.
Hello, Marsh, can you stop sharing? So, because I'm going to share sound at some point, so I'll tell you now. Thank you. I'm so sad to see the self-care astrology leave my presence. Hello, everyone. I see some new faces. Hello, hello. I see some faces that I usually see. Hi. Who's a Scorpio here? I know Anna's camera's off. B Scorpio. I mean, I know Reed is a Scorpio. All right. Hello. We're in spooky season. I love this for all of us. It's always really funny. Me and Shauna always say this, how like intertwined we are. And we know a little bit about each other's segment, like the general theme, but then we kind of just always align. It just amazes me with just everything, how it falls into place. So going back into thinking what also Marcia spoke about is how we're ending the cycle of the eclipse season, which started in 2021 November. Then there was an eclipse in November of last year. So this is a 2-year-long cycle. So I invite you now to just quickly take a look in your phone. I did this earlier because I was thinking back to myself in November 2021. I was like, I kind of sort of remember, but go in your phone, scroll back to November 2021, and just see and remember who you were then. Hi, Tiff. I see you joined us. Scroll back in your phone and just take a moment to see who you were. What has changed? How do you feel different? What have you healed? What have you learned? And how do you feel now? I found it so interesting when I did that in November of 2021, I was removing my breast implants in December. So that was like my last month of having my implants. And I was like, wow, I forgot about that. So it was a beautiful time of transformation for me 2 years ago to be moving through that, which I recently just shared a little bit about on social. It's like, it really changed. It was like the start of something. And then here we are 2 years later, I feel completely different. So I invite you also now to write in the chat, what was let me see, write down your biggest lesson or the way you've evolved since November 2021. So that's the prompt. I'll put it in the chat. What's the biggest way you've evolved? I know for me, I would have to say definitely self-love, my self-love and just acceptance of myself. I used to be highly critical and had a lot of just self-hatred, looking at myself in the mirror. And maybe it was because I was consistently trying to fix myself with plastic surgery and do things that I thought would make myself feel better. So I know my self-love journey has been really wonderful these last 2 years, just stepping into myself, be evolved in communication. Yes. Yeah, what ways has everyone evolved? Because that really helps to see, like, collectively, how are we as women evolving? What are we changing? How are we now showing up in the world? Marsha, being gentle with myself. Amen to that. I was in the depths of grief and I was starting my healing journey. I feel like a whole different person now. Kristen. Yes, it's just 2 years is such a small yet large window of time. Like when you really think of 2 years, like I'm a completely different person. I always love those memes that are like, if you knew me yesterday, you don't know me today. Like I'm a whole new person. And it's so true because in a moment, you might do a meditation that you go so inward and you have a download that's like, okay, yeah, I'm changing my whole perspective from this. That happened to me the other day, just like fear around, and I shared this with Rita, fear around abundance to me was like, I was thinking a lot of abundance means a lot of work. And it's like, I'm already stressed out with work. So here I was putting this block in abundance. And I'm like, no, why can't we just make abundance doing what we love that comes easy, that doesn't feel so hard? My block was in feeling that all of this abundance would have to come with me being stressed out and feeling like I hate what I'm doing. Oh, there's so much juice in here. I love it. You guys are in. Don't even recognize that girl. I saw you looking through your phone, Rita. Stepping into more spiritual relationship with body started veganism, plant-based. Yes, starting getting antsy about business and professional identity, wanted to expand from just psychotherapy, emotionally catching my breath, still in survival mode. Yes, coming home to myself. Amen. I feel the same way. I've evolved in my nurturing. November 2021 was all about me. I was in my masculine. I was pulling a lot, traveling a lot, heavy in my masculine energy. Now I'm much softer in my motherhood, learning to let my husband take care of me, learning to find adventure in my local and exotic destinations. Oh my gosh, thank you everyone for sharing these. They're so great. And just like really leaning into who you were then and just appreciate now in this moment how far you've come from that person. Like sometimes we forget, we're so in the moment, we forgot who we once were. So really just take a moment to soak that in, how far you've come. And this new phase is really about, the theme for me that came up was closing doors and saying goodbye to things that maybe are still lingering, like kind of an energetic like stuckness from 2021, or if there's feelings or beliefs or something that's hindering you from moving even forward now past this eclipse season. So our art exercise, all you will need is a piece of paper and a pen or pencil or markers. We've had people use nail polish, whatever you feel like you want to create with, it's your time. You really don't need elaborate materials if you don't have them. I do suggest doing this on a piece of paper because we are going to rip it. This is called a creative cord cutting ceremony. It's an energetic cord cutting ceremony, so you will be ripping, and I will invite you to burn part of the paper if you really feeling witchy. So don't have it in your journal. If it is, make sure it's something that you can rip out. And this exercise was inspired by, there's a book by Jacques Martel, and it's called The Little Stick Figures. And what it is, he's a therapist, and it was about cutting cords with other people, which maybe one day we'll go into that. And this is inspired by that, in the sense that we're closing a door, we're opening a new one, a new cycle is coming, one is ending, we're shedding, we're letting go of any little stagnant energies that are still there. So this is how the exercise is going to go. And it's very important, certain parts of it, because we have to set the tone and the energy in it. So I'm going to show you my very rough example. Don't start yet, because we're going to go into 2 songs where you can just go inward, reflect, and really think of what you want to add. So first you're going to draw a door, 2 doors, right? Make sure there's a doorknob so you signify that it's closed. We want to know that it's closed. And then the second door is open. So if you want to write that on your paper now, draw 2 doors, leave space between them. So we're setting up your base, and then I'll explain what you're going to do and add to it. And then around those 2 doors, put an energetic circle. Even maybe close your eyes and think that you are setting an intention, and around these doors, whatever you are placing in them, you mean. It's like your portal. It's your creative portal. You're sealing it to be safe. You're sealing it to be potent. You're sealing it to know that the things that you're writing in here, that transformation will unfold from it. And then at the top, like here, wherever you want, put I, and then put your full name, first and last. Powerfully declare I am, and then write an affirmation. So I, your full name, powerfully declare I am, and then an affirmation of whatever you want to bring forth, release, whatever that affirmation first comes to you. That usually is the one that I go with. So now you have your doors, one is closing, one is open. You have your container, it is safe, it is secure. It's letting you, the universe, whoever you pray to know that in this container, now you're gonna really start transformation. So the next part, which will be really super inward, you can add color. I didn't add color to mine, but you can add, I would suggest particularly in your door that's open, right? Maybe you wanna add flowers, you wanna add bloom, like not going to give you too much instruction because it's art and it's your own interpretation. But then you're going to write, you're going to cut cords. So when your door that's closing, you're going to write words that, or so for this one says self-doubt. And then in the new door, belief. And then you're going to write a cord, like what is keeping you and what do you need to change? Procrastination, focus, perfectionism, completion, screen time, boundaries, isolating, being open. So you're writing what you want to let go of in the door that's closing. What are you going to close? And then in return of that, because when something dies, something new has to be born in its place. When you close something, it opens room for something else. If you're holding on to self-doubt, you're blocking your belief. If you're holding on to procrastination and dilly-dallying and not focusing, you're blocking yourself from the creations that you're avoiding. So I'm going to play 2 songs. Really think in, close your eyes. Think, what do you want to let go of? This is your portal. And even I suggest like illuminate your door. I added some lines in pencil. You can't really see, but illuminate this. Let the universe, the moon, and everyone know these are what you're bringing in. This is what you're closing. When you're done, you want to start shading this in black or a dark color. By all means, whatever you need to do to get rid of this. So I'm going to play 2 songs. Get creative, draw, think in. This is your time to shine. All right, make your final marks, seal in your last door closing. How does everyone feel closing those doors, opening new ones? Fertile ground for growth feels great. Does anyone want to share what they've created? This is always my favorite personal part, to see all of the magic and juice that comes out of your creative inner child playtime. If you want to share. Hi, B.
Hey. So it's going to be hard to see this, maybe. But on this side, that's going to be the door that's closing. I shaded it in black. Over here, I have a couple different colors going on and sun rays, and I left the door like open off the page, and there's a reason for that. So for the things that I'm closing, doubt, I'm opening and calling in belief and inner knowing. I'm letting go of fear, calling in trust. I'm letting go of scarcity, calling in limitless and abundance. Letting go of gripping and rigidness, calling in freedom and flow, letting go of pride and ego, calling in love, letting go of hindering behaviors, calling in expression, letting go of neglect, calling in nourishment, letting go of control, and calling in exploration. And I wanted it to go off of the page because I want to continue that flow of good things attracting all goodness to me.
I got chills. Got chills. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you. I love that you left it open on the side. That's nice because it's even more open. Like it's open, but it's even more open because it's off the page. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
I would love to share too.
Oh, Ashley.
So this is what mine looks like. I did little vines and I did like little like ray. I really like loops. Like I've realized that in art for me is like I love that. And so what I'm letting go is scarcity and replacing it with fullness and like the feeling of abundance. Insecurity, being satisfied with myself, who I am, and what I have to offer. Abandonment / like lack, gratitude for what I have and who I have. Feeling talentless. I'm a performer, so sometimes it can be really hard of like I grew up very hard on myself. Like my inner critic is not around unless it's singing, dancing, acting, and then I'm like the most biggest critic of myself. And that's not something that's super normal for me. And so for it to be in the domain that I want my career to be in, what I love, it can be really hard sometimes, but recognizing what I have accomplished and also recognizing like who believes in me. And like I know it's like we shouldn't always depend on other people for our we're feeling good about ourselves and stuff, but there is a point where like you have to look back at the people and being like, am I doing okay? Or like, is this okay? And if they're like, yeah, and you're just like, okay, like you need that soundboard sometimes. So just recognizing what I have accomplished and also who's supporting me. Um, and similar to be with fear, trust in myself and like the universe, and anger and rage, and how I want to focus more on self-care and protecting my peace. I live in a really horrible, toxic household, and this whole time we've like been so like loving and caring, and everybody's yelling at each other in the back, and I was just overstimulated for a while. And I get so angry, I get so rageful, I get so like you guys don't know what I'm doing in here, like I'm cooking shit up, like I'm healing generational shit in here. And I'm like, okay, so replacing that is like my practice and what does protecting my peace look like to me. Um, Stagnant energy. I wrote this down and I love this. Do it, be it, and love it. I just, that's going to be my affirmation for sure. And also, I wrote this in really quickly. I feel like who I was in 2021, I was in a long-term relationship and I was really dissatisfied, like sexually. I was not getting what I want. Like I was young, I was like not having a great time. And so I put dissatisfied and I put self-pleasure, and like I love just keeping that going, That's it. Thank you.
Way to end it. She know it's Scorpio season. She just let me just drop that in the end real quick for everybody. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for doing the work. You're such a young angel and soul, and the fact that you're in your room, in your portal, and like it's maybe overstimulating, and you still find that grounding. I'm always in awe of you and your shares and your heart. So thank you. Anyone else want to share what they created, what they're calling in, what door is closing?
I always have to share because you just do this to me. So, I was actually pleasantly surprised that I felt more inclined to write in the open door than in the closed door, because I sometimes feel like the negative can be top of mind and then have like a really full list of what I'm letting go of and struggle with what I'm calling in. But today it was opposite. So that felt really good. So I kind of want to share everything. I'm like, my affirmation was that I powerfully declare that I am my ancestors' greatest manifestation. I am spiritually guided, protected, and supported by them always. That has been something that for the last at least 3 or 4 days has been very like top of mind and top of spirit for me. I reset my altar last night. My mom's mom, her birthday would have been on Saturday, and I haven't been to her gravesite yet. And I've been thinking about like driving up there and going to leave her some flowers, but just like feeling very much that certain ancestors are around and they're reminding me that like I'm good. Like they got me. I'm doing my thing. Like it's fine. And then, so I wrote on this door, I'm letting go of. And then on this door, I wrote, I graciously welcome in and receive, because I call a lot of things in, but like the capacity to receive them isn't always there. So just affirming that I'm ready to receive. So I'm letting go of financial irresponsibility, a lack of consistency or follow through, the belief that my career is my value, relationships that don't understand, align, or support the season I'm in, complaining, feeling stuck, resisting help, and complacency. And I graciously welcome in and receive budgeting and money management skills, learning and spiritual pursuit, routine and structure, being present with my child without guilt, all of the friendships, partnerships, and relationships that are for my greatest and highest good, new projects and ideas, gratitude, sticking to the small actions that will help big changes occur, joy, play, and freedom, and the love and nurturing and financial support of my husband, but also of like my in-laws. My mother-in-law always wants to do stuff for me, and I resist that so much. So just like opening myself up to receiving the help if it's there to be received. And then something happened today that I wrote down I wanted to share. I wrote a quote, but I have to give you context or you won't get it. So I came home, there was an insurance adjuster at the house today. And I came home and he was like up on a ladder, checking out the roof. And he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "How are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, just living the dream," like very sarcastically. And my first, like the thing that popped in my head was, we are all living someone's dream. So even though like he's in this sarcastic bubble of like, just living the dream. And I'm like, but really, like, it's somebody's dream, whether it's your dream or it's not, and we all have the power to like change and alchemize our circumstances. But really, like, if we can just stop and think about where we are in comparison to where someone else is and what they might be hoping to achieve in this lifetime, we're already living somebody else's dream. So just giving gratitude for that. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Shauna. That was a good download right there. We really are. So even just the little small things we take for granted is huge to someone else. Even just having, internet and running water, and especially with like what's going on in the world and just how many people are suffering and don't have the basic can't even talk today, necessities that they need. So just really just blessed that we wake up, we're safe, our children are safe. And yeah, thank you, Shauna. I always love your shares. Do we want to, we may run over a tad of time. So do we want to do one more share? Feel it. I feel like somebody want to share. Dun, dun, dun. No. Going once?
I'll share really quick.
Yeah.
So earlier today, I did like a bajillion stories about this aha moment that I had last night about like November 2 years ago. And then earlier I was like researching the full moon and I'm preparing for the workshop. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that was like the whole aha that I had last night. And so in what I wrote on my door is just like this reminder of how intuitive I already am. Sometimes I like to see the things on paper and it's like, oh, see, I was right. But it's like just knowing that like this is what's aligned and this is what came up for me and it came up for a reason. I don't always need like the concrete evidence. So I took so much from all of your gals' shares. So I really liked what B was saying with from control to exploration. I feel like I've really been exploring myself and life and just so much over these past 2 years. And there's an opportunity for me to do a little more of that as well. Yeah, so thank you all for your shares. There's so much I've already soaked in like the short time I've been here. So thank you.
Love you, Tiff. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing and opening your hearts and your space. We really are in a transformative time. It's Scorpio season, it's fall. We're closing that cycle from 2 years ago. I mean, we went through so many different eclipses, and Scorpio is the lord of the underworld. And then we have Jupiter that was active, as Marcia said that, which is abundance. So there's a lot of action with abundance and underworld, Pluto, like Jupiter. These are wonderful planets of luck, abundance, but also of underworld, which is those shadows, which is perhaps some things that were lingering. Your list, maybe some shadow things that you need to really kind of filter out. So I invite you either now to cut the cord. So all those lines, like rip your paper. If you have scissors, cut it. If you want to fold it so it can make the rip a little easier, but I invite you to now rip that door. It's closing. If you want to burn it, if you want to cut it up, you want to bury it, whatever your practice is, that door, all of those things, like really energetically as you're cutting or ripping this paper, release those from your life. Like you have the ability, we have the ability to close doors or open them. If we find like something's hindering us from moving forward now through this next season, like really let it go. We are our worst enemy. We are the one that's keeping that door open and not cutting that cord. So what you just created is an energetic portal. You're now cutting the cord. You're letting the universe know you are all those lines connecting, like you are sticking now just with your beautiful door that's open, whether it's on the paper, going off the paper like bees, like now. Oh, I'm watching B do her rip. That's so theatrical, honey. That was theatrics. I felt it. Yes, cut the cord. This is a really beautiful practice that you can do. Even if there's anything that you want to call in, always set your paper with that circle around it that kind of protects it. But you can write something and always rip, like do the cord. It's a really good practice that I learned from this therapist that I'm going to start implementing more in my practices with all of you. And yeah, happy eclipse, happy Scorpio, happy life. I'm so grateful to share space with all of you and see your faces and be in this space together. So thank you for your love and your creativity and closing those doors. Give yourself a little round, give yourself a hug. There's like a newness that is brewing. So yeah, I see it. Give yourself a hug, honey, because who is going to love on you like you love on yourself? Yes, we got Angie patting the baby. Yes, yes, yes. So love on yourself. Thank yourself for how far you've come. And, we looked back in 2021 and like, we're here. We're still here. We woke up another day. That means we are not done in life. So when you wake up tomorrow, know that there's a newness that's coming. You've closed a door. You have a new door that's open with all these beautiful things that are blooming. So I love you, love you, love you all.
Thank you, A. That was so beautiful. I don't know why it made me really emotional, actually. It was just like a really potent way to see it, to look at it as doors and openings and closings. And yeah, thank you so much. So we know that we're close to time. I want to be like respectful and mindful of everyone's nights. So what I'm going to do is just speak a little bit to the shadow self, and then I'm going to give my segment as homework. And I invite you all to share it in the portal. Not share it in its entirety, but maybe share a takeaway that you received from it. So Scorpio, and being one myself, there is a connection and sort of an obsession with the shadow self, right? With death and rebirth. Marsha touched a little bit on this. And I have experienced it many times in my life. I mean, I'm the queen of like packing up my shit and moving to a new city when I'm done. Like, I'm just like, okay, it's time. We're deading this chapter. Let's move on. Let's go on. And so I want to speak a little bit to that, right? And to how the shadow can be a really potent force in our life when we allow it. Because it's not necessarily an entirely negative thing, right? There isn't specifically a darkness to it, right? So when we think about the shadow, it is kind of like our lost and forgotten and disowned self, right? So it's the place within us that contains all of our secrets, all of our repressed feelings, all of like the primal impulses that we have as human beings, kind of those things that are like deemed unacceptable or shameful, or whatever negative connotation we want to give to it, right? And so it's this place that is in our unconscious mind that is suppressed and rejected, right? And so I think that we don't make friends with the shadow enough and look at the shadow and see it as a portal for what needs to be born, right? Similar to all of what everyone shared earlier, like in order for something to die, there has to be a plan of rebirth, right? There has to be a trajectory of movement into life, like thinking of the phoenix from the ashes, right? And so when our shadow self is rejected and is repressed, it creates a lot of problems, right? It creates low self-esteem. It can create illnesses, dis-ease within the body, addictions, like all of these things can kind of be attributed to the shadow self. What I invite us to do tonight is to write a love letter to our shadow. And so what this is going to do is to thank her. It's going to thank this version of us. It's going to give gratitude for what magic and what power and what light it has propelled us into, right? So darkness and light can only exist within each other, right? The shadows of light and dark, that is the duality of the shadow, is the light. And so taking the time to say thank you, to those parts of ourselves that we keep hidden, to say thank you to the parts of ourselves that maybe no one knows the pain that you've had to go through to get through that, right? And we don't name that enough. We don't, Ash, you spoke to it a little bit, right? But like something as simple as attending a full moon circle and trying to understand yourself deeper and heal generations of pain and trauma, that is no small feat, right? And it's something to be acknowledged, it's something to be honored within ourselves. And while we had so much fun here and there's so much joy here, it is not easy, right? To just show up and to just say, I'm going to do the work, whether the work is twerking or whether the work is like looking at myself in the mirror and trying to pick myself back up off the floor because I don't feel good about myself today, right? So there's purpose in all of it, and there's value in all of it. There's light and there's dark in all of it. And so really set the space and set the time for this, and give yourself room to just flow, right? Allow the pen to paper to just be a free for all. And I invite you to take a moment to set like a no judgment rule, right? Before you're going to journal, sit down, close the eyes and say, I invite in zero judgment. There is no shame in what I'm about to write and what I'm about to release. Anything that comes out of me and through me is equally a part of me, just as the good is, right? So again, love letter to the shadow self, thanking these parts of yourself that maybe you've guilted or shamed or shunned or have been repressed and just rejected within you. And I just want to speak to one more thing, because this came up for me in Adrienne's exercise. And it's funny because I haven't thought about it since, like, I think maybe right around like 2 years ago, because as I was looking in the pictures, I was like, I feel like this is when this concept like first came to me, was November, like around the time that we were talking about 2021. For me, there's been three things that have always kind of come up for me. It's the need to be perfect, it's the need to perform, and it's the need to prove myself. And so those are the three things that I have really tried to rewrite and decondition myself from. And so I invite you to kind of look at those three things and look at the areas in your life where that is showing up for you. Proving, being perfect, and the need to perform. And that can be anything from your work life, I see Shay saying same. Yeah. And I feel like this is a very similar theme among women, right? Just this idea of like, if it's not perfect, if I don't look perfect, it's not good enough. If I don't produce something that's perfect, it's not good enough. If I'm not in this performative, like, good girl, I'm perfect, everything is beautiful, life is wonderful way, then it's not worthy of anything. And then that idea of proving yourself, right? And there's many layers to that. Many layers to needing to prove ourselves as women, and that's a whole other call and conversation. So I'm going to type those here in the chat. Perfection, proving, and performing. And so just to recap, just kind of add that to the end of your journal exercise and be thinking of where those ideals show up for you and how you can close some of those doors. Maybe even add it to your list of Adrienne's doors, right? And rewrite it and ask yourself what you're calling in instead of that. And so the ask and the homework, if you will, is to write a love letter to your shadow self, to thank her, to name her, I love the exercise that Marsh had us do of like giving her a name. That was really fun. And a good way maybe to start it, right? If that felt aligned for you, is to name her. And just be gentle, right? To know that this shadow is just as valuable and just as much a part of your journey as all the good that has happened to you, right? You can attend 100 sound baths and a million moon circles and do all of these incredible, insightful, awakening experiences. But if you are not willing to go deep and you're not willing to look at the darkness and you're not willing to look at the shadow, what are you doing? What actually is happening, right? Is it just a way for you to hide? Is it just a way for you to align yourself with something that feels true, but you're not really willing to jump in and go all the way, take action? Exactly. I always like to say it's one thing to hear your intuition, it's another to be brave enough to act on it, right? Those are two very different things. Your intuition can be loud and you can hear her, and then you can just turn up the music and leave the room, right? So this is the invitation for you to turn down the music and to listen and to get quiet and to go a little bit deep. And so tomorrow or whenever, maybe next week, I'm going to pop in the full moon portal and ask just for everyone to express what their takeaway was, right? You don't have to share the whole thing, but just what you took away from this conversation and how you plan to integrate the shadow into your self-care going forward. How are you going to befriend it and invite it in? Saturday is a good day on the eclipse. Okay, perfect, Marsha. I'll put that on my calendar. All right, loves. Any last shares? Any questions? Anything else before we close out the space? Nothing? Okay, beautiful. So as always, be gentle with yourself. Take a little self-integration period. Don't open your phone right away or turn on the TV right away. Just kind of sit with self and at least do a couple breaths. Allow your body to catch up to what you just experienced mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And yeah, just have a beautiful night. And don't forget to rip up your old door. All right. Love you all. Take care.
Bye, babes. Good night.